Hello everybody and welcome to another Expanded Guide. Today we're going to be talking about Bob Jenkins, otherwise known as the Salesman, otherwise known as the guy Bryn lied to us and said it would be the only investigator he'd ever play until the end of time. But I recall him playing Skids O'Toole on his own.
A lot of investigators aren't this one. Like a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's played Bob since then.
Yeah, I don't think he has. Uh-oh. He will, though. He'll play Bob again. I know he will. So Bob is a survivor that turns into a rogue. All the Edge of the Earth investigators, they start as one class, and then they turn into another one, and everyone gets it wrong at least once in their life, multiple times in their life, even.
Yeah, there's almost certainly a mistake in this video.
No, I checked. We're
sure?
good. Yeah, I'm going to double down and say, yeah, we're good. So before I get into his actual ability, we'll talk about his strengths because it kind of just sums up Bob. So he has a great economy. Both action and then also with his signature, money economy. He has a very flexible role because of his stat line, but usually when we say that, it usually also means their stat line is not, like, fantastic. It's not great. It's just like...
Yeah, you can do everything, like, kind of good.
Yeah, it's serviceable, but you're going to have to work for it more than other investigators. Yeah. And he also has a somewhat niche playstyle just by the very nature of his ability, because you're looking at wanting to use that ability every turn, because why would you want to say no to free action? Notably, let's get to his ability. So at any time, an investigator location may reveal to you the item assets in their hand, which is really fun to just do. You can just show the Bob players whenever you want.
Yeah.
Because it says at any time.
Anytime.
Then you may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play an item asset from the hand of an investigator at your location. Under their control, both investigators may spend resources to pay its cost. So while you don't need to always use this on yourself, you can use it on other people to give extra actions. Your deck is going to need to have items in it. You're going to be wanting to look at use your ability, worst case scenario, all by yourself.
It's actually kind of interesting to me that they printed Schaffners in the same expansion as Bob, considering they do the same thing. Like, why can you spend resources off Schaffners, pay for other people's stuff, and Bob just does that, and that's the deck you're supposed to play it in? You know?
Yep, yeah, it is.
It's kind of a weird choice.
It is. Bob's just a magazine.
Kind of takes away from him a bit. But,
Bob has an absolutely killer Elder Sign effect, +1 for each item asset you control. Wow.
yeah?
It basically just says pass the test.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So his, as I said, he has the Survivor level 0, Rogue 1 to 5, Neutral 0 to 5, and up to 5 other Rogue cards level 0. So you get 5 level 0 Rogue cards in your deck. So there are some important decisions to make there, but it's probably going to be a Faustian bargain. Economy is really good. Yep.
And then, like, 3 other green cards.
3 other green cards, yeah. There's nothing
you
like...
handle this ones, and then another green card.
Liquid Courage is also another great one that always kind of falls
like
in there,
another
too.
One.
Yeah, yeah. His signature is very good, Shrewd Dealings. So you reduce the cost of each item asset you play by 1. That means that if you play someone else's item asset with your ability, it reduces the cost by 1.
Oh, I lied. Your green cards are now, they're the stupid Edge Earth one once you find talents.
Friends in Low Places.
You
yeah.
can take this out.
Yeah. And then he also has, when you play an item asset played under the control of any investigator location, that's kind of more of a meme. Like, there's a lot of cool things you can do, but it's not what you're, like, looking at doing. Because most people are playing the cards they want to play.
Yeah, when Bryn played Bob, he gave Lily Chan a shotgun, which was fun. But, like, not any better than what I was already doing.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of the things. But, I mean, like, there's a lot of times where it actually has worked out in the favor. Like, giving someone else bandages, if you're like, they're going to go off on their own, it's just like, go child, go. Like, especially for items that don't take up hand slots or, like, body slots.
Yep, or slots you don't care about. Like, that stupid red thing that makes you not die.
Oh, the Talisman of Protection. Yeah,
that's a good one. Just throw it at people.
Yeah, yeah. His signature can be a little bit spooky scary. So it always deals you 1 horror, and then depending on the number of resources you have, you take additional horror. So if you have 0 resources, this deals you 4 horror. So just don't end your turn or draw at 0 resources. That's step number 1.
Yeah, actually, I kind of hate this because, like, it would... I think Bob would be a fun, like, Dark Horse investigator, but this just gimps it so hard.
Yeah. Like, you do have Survivor Soak, but you don't have, like, peak Survivor Soak, right? You can't get, like...
You can't get level 2...
Pete Sylvester.
Is most of it.
Yeah.
But...
and then if you have 5 or fewer, you take 1 additional, so you'll take 2. 3. If you have 10, you take 1 additional, so you take 2. So
but you always take 1.
Yeah, you always take 1.
Yeah.
Which when you do, it's like the softest thing in the world. You're just like, I am okay.
Most of the time you take like 2 from this.
Yeah, that's the most common, yeah. But so it's just something to be aware of. Like, we've had times where Bryn was like, well, I'm spent all my money and I have to draw at the end of turn, so hopefully it's not the greed.
Yep.
Yeah. But while we dive into the core set, and Travis, I'll let you take this one.
Oh, good. Well, first off, we have Burglary, a card that doesn't really fit in many other investigators. But it's an asset. You get to, as an action, exhaust it to investigate, and if you succeed, instead of discovering clues, you get 3 resources. Mm-hmm. Bob can investigate pretty well with his 4 book, and resources are a thing that you care about very dearly. Mm-hmm. So, actually a pretty solid card for him, I think. We have a pile of, like, red cards, some items. The leather coat soaks heart damage, which is good. It's just an item you can play. Mm-hmm. I'm going to skip over scavenging briefly. Mm-hmm. I'll come back to that. But baseball, get bat, you can fight. You have like puts up to 5 fists, which is honestly pretty reasonable. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're like kind of flexing and get to, if it's to that, we said that he has a flexible stat line, but you have to work for things a little bit. But a baseball bat and committing another card is pretty solid. Yeah. Rabbit's foot. Honestly, probably a pretty solid item for him. You're playing lots of items, so you're going to be running out of cards. Drawing cards is going to be important, and it is not unreasonable to think that you're going to be failing brain tests during the Mythos phase semi-consistently. Mm-hmm. It also commits for a while, which is handy with the scavenging.
Yeah, definitely.
Look what I found. A great support card for the investigating stuff. Cunning Distraction. It's just kind of always here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's especially when Bob is going to be likely doing big money, right? This is less of a payment compared to other survivors.
Yep. It's nice to get a jail-free card. Lucky is Lucky, and Flashlight is Flashlight, but as special mention here because of the scavenging. So, one thing that is tough with scavenging decks is having to actually spend the action to play your items, which can slow you down in your clue getting. Other investigators who can play scavenging, like, for example, Daryl or Min, can make up for it with yellow cards and other clue compression in other areas.
Or even scavenging to itself.
Yeah, scavenging to itself. But Bob only has access to level 0 scavenging, and honestly that's fine because you just get the action to play your item anyway.
Yep.
Which makes the whole process much smoother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, the scavenging itself is very... It's hard to not like feel pushed into playing this card. Like getting back your items that have uses or have soak, and like you're pushed towards investigating anyway because you have 4 book, and like it ensures that you always have an item to make use of for your action, and it's really hard not to play it.
Especially because it's a Scarlet Keys card, but Shadowlight works really well with Old Keyring 0, which is also an item that costs 1. Yeah, and like with every item, like the leather coat, like it always it's never bad to play a leather coat if you need soak, but it's so much sweeter to not have to spend one of your 3 actions to do it. Yeah, that's why, like, apart from Yorick's Infinite Incursion, why he also likes these cheap things, and Bob's very similar, right? Because he doesn't have to spend the time to do it.
Yeah. We got our emergency cash here, which is money. We have all the core set skills here because you can use all of them. Yeah. Depending on what you want to do. Yeah. Leo DeLuca here is a solid ally. Green does not have... so red's level 0 allies are like kind of meh. You can play level 0 Piece of Esther, which is fine. You can play Madame LaBranche, also a solid choice. Gray Orange like a little lackluster for you though. And the other red allies are like creatures, I think, at level 0. Yeah. And then level 0 green allies suck. So but level 1 Leo DeLuca is like fine. You get like 5 actions with him, and he's like a low experience investment for you if you are just looking for an ally to play. Yep. So we have Hot Streak, which supports that big money archetype, just +7 resources, always nice. And then we have Bulletproof Vest here, and presumably Elder Sign on the next page, which are just bigger items that soak. Yeah. So
if you need the soak, they'll do it. Mm-hmm. All right, on to Dunwich. We have the Liquid Courage. This is an item that costs 1, and it heals horror.
This is not even going to say that one a lot here.
Yeah. Fire Axe, also an item, but it is the Dark Horse here as well, which you have to, once again, as Travis said, be aware of the signature weakness, right?
Yeah, like, I'll say it's probably not as big a deal as I present it as. Because, like, Cherish Keeps, like, eats half it, and you have 8 base horror, but it still sucks.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that, like, takes it from a deck that you can play just to play versus a deck where you need to build around something that you are for sure going to draw. Yeah. Right? It's not like where you have to build for a scenario where you might see it, you're going to see greed. But yeah, Fire Axe obviously works very well with Dark Horse, and a card we're going to see later also does as well. Fine Clothes. It's item, and it's also just like good, like in like certain campaigns and scenarios.
Which is just like fine.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have the Relic Hunter and Charisma, two absolute staples that you'll find in the staple video, which you can find links to all that if you see a little bubble on it.
I didn't say that part.
And then Relic Hunter, obviously, I think has greater value in Bob because a lot of items take up the accessory slot. One we see at the end here, Gold Pocket Watch, which I'll get to. But we have the upgraded Emergency Cache, which is gain 3 resources and draw a card. Not a necessary upgrade, but certainly not a bad one. And then we got a big-ass gun.
Yep.
Which is kind of like Bob could do it. Bob actually could do it. Actually, a big thing that also helps Bob is like obviously committing skill cards, but he can also play well connected. And if you're going to be playing big money, the value of all these also go up. They become more possible to actually do it. It's a little bit janky, but it could be fun.
Yeah, it turns out when you're like looking at items for rogue cards, your options are basically big money items or guns.
Yep.
So.
Apart from a few fun exceptional items like this gold pocket watch here, which allows you to either skip a phase when it begins or repeat a phase when a phase ends. So
good card. Fun.
Yeah, very fun. We actually in the Bob deck, and it's just always great. Yeah, you did sell it to Wendy once. I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I had my necklace slots filled up. I was like, I can't wear this. Here you go, child.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a fun card. It is expensive experience, but the effect is very good. Yeah. That's it. We're on to Carcosa.
Easy. Sleight of hand. Well, I mean, the green cards kind of sucked in that way. So, sleight of hand. This is just item synergy. Useful for some items that have uses. It's been errated to have different text. I don't remember what it is. No, we don't play it anymore because it's too confusing. But we have our Lantern, Gravedigger, Shovel here. Two solid items. They're nice to scavenge back. The Lantern's like a mini flashlight that it doesn't have uses, and you can ping an enemy, which is very nice. And the Gravedigger Shovel lets you smack things at 5 punch, which is pretty reasonable.
Yep.
For 1 damage, or you can discard to get a clue. Also nice. Resourceful, I think you missed a stamp on, but
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably in this.
It's got it. You think Resourceful, the card that's been in every video with the survivors in the staple video, probably, right?
Yeah. Again, red card's back is good. Even it like loses value as you get up in experience, and you might actually end up cutting it from your deck, but it's still like a really solid include.
It's one of those things that like if I have like Lucky in my deck, or like even a Take Heart, I'd play this. Like, it doesn't mean a lot for me to want to get, because it's basically like the card doesn't exist then, right? It's basically just a second copy of your best survivor card.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Cherish Keepsake is soak. Madame Leblanche is great soak and a little bit of economy mixed in. It's pretty rare that you're not going to have cards in hand, I think, in most decks, but getting extra resource some turns is pretty handy.
Yep.
And 2 money for 2/2 soak is like good.
Yes.
Lockpicks, not as good for Bob as it is for most rogues, but still very acceptable. 41 Derringer is, Bob's the kind of investigator who is designed to play with those cards, so you have a garbage punch stat, and you get to, if you work for it, then you get to do extra damage, and if you work for a lot, you get an extra action. Totally fine. And then we have our level 3 emergency cache, which is 4 resources or 4 supply tokens among assets controlled by investigators your location or any combination thereof. And you got, even just on this page, like the lockpicks uses supplies.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
I'll let you finish Carcosa.
Nice. It's an item.
It's an item, yeah.
That's new, kind of. That's a new thing to say about it. It's good.
Yeah. So you might be thinking we're not talking a lot about like Bob and what he does. It's because with Bob you play item. You play an item and then you go. So there's not much.
Use the item.
It's not like when we're talking about like Diana Stanley. It's like, so how do you want to approach this cancel? Or like Jim Culver. Why would you want to not play Jim Culver? With Bob, it's basically just
you just items. You just play assets.
Yeah, just play them. All right, on to the Forgotten Age. So Bob actually likes snakes. I gotta write that more clear. Okay, you handle this one. Green staple. Just say no to an encounter card, but give it to somebody else, and then also get paid for it in the process.
Nice.
Upgrade. Level 0 backpack.
Yeah.
Upgraded backpack. absolute staple in Bob. It'll do gangbusters for you. Level 2 version, you'll...
Still very good.
And the reason is it's very good is because you're running a lot more items than other investigators would. Like a level 0 backpack is worse than prepared for the worst when it comes to finding your guns, for example, right? Like if you only have like 4 guns in your deck, a prepared for the worst is going to find it better than a backpack will, and at a cheaper rate. But when you're Bob and you have a shit ton of items, it's more likely to hit things.
Yeah, part of the reason that I actually think level 2 backpack is better for finding specific things because it digs so deep. Like I would almost rather play something like Deep Knowledge if you could.
Yeah.
Just because you're playing so many items, you're probably going to draw 3 items anyway, and it would cost less than the backpack. Theoretically, you obviously can't play Deep Knowledge in Bob. But yeah, part of the reason that backpack is a staple for Bob is because red and green card draw is not so bueno.
Perseverance, it allows you to not die, and it's also a guts if you are also already not dying. And then we got Stunning Blow, which kind of fits with this. I have this idea, this vision of this dirty fighting Bob deck. The 25 automatic.
Very possible.
Yeah, and the Stunning Blow can help you get there. Take Heart is also probably should be stamped. I just phoned it in on the survivor cards for this video, apparently. But if you can commit it to a test you know you're going to fail, and you get to draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources, this works really well in combinations with things like Look What I Found, which Bob is going to be wanting me using anyway.
This is the trade-off for ensuring that all the cards here are actually cards Bob can play.
Yeah. We have Thermos, this is probably the one video it made it to, apart from maybe, no, Kelvin Wright probably had it.
Oh yeah, I bet Calvin did.
Yeah. But it's an item. And it allows you to heal damage, but it allows you to heal more damage and horde if they have 2 or more physical or mental trauma.
Yeah, honestly a solid sort of 25th card after those to even out those 5 green cards.
Yeah. And soup's good. That's I like that little soup there. We have Fence, which allows you to play an illicit card during your hand, and you can exhaust it against fast if it was already fast.
I thought that was just a meme.
No. You gotta reduce its cost by 1 instead if it is already fast. So if you're playing illicit guns or other illicit tools or things that came out in the Scarlet Keys, which again we're not talking about here, but we will talk about one day.
One day.
Yeah.
We're almost done with these.
We actually are. We're in we have to do the Scarlet Keys ones in this format. Yeah, probably. High Roller. This is a great way to pass tests as Bob. This would be a good part in probably the shooty deck. It could be a good piece if you're going to do that. Or if you're using things like just lockpicks or just investigating and you have a lot of money and you want to make that money.
Yep.
Payday. Gain 1 resource for each action you perform this turn. If it's your turn, end it. It's basically just reverse emergency cash.
It's better than emergency cash.
Yeah, because Bob gets the extra action each turn.
Gets the 4th, yeah.
He gets the 4, yeah. Hell yeah. But in other people, it's most commonly just reverse e-cash. Then we got Skeleton Key, which is a fun little item. It reduces the shroud of location. It sets the location's shroud value to 1 when you attach it, so it cannot be reduced further. But really, at that point,
makes it really easy to succeed by 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, it's fast. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
it's hidden there.
It is, yeah. One thing though is you do need to pick it back up. So it'll save you. In the theory is that it saves you actions that you would have failed, but you have to pick it up, and that's where you kind of even out on the actions.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, nice and
Circle
easy. Circle Undone. This one sucks for Bob. We got Act Desperation. This is a card that cares about items. You can throw your empty gun or your baseball bat or whatever at something and get some money back. It's kind of neat.
Not even a weapon. You can just throw anything.
Yeah, and then it takes up a hand slot. Yeah, your flashlight or whatever.
Yeah. Take that.
Yeah, Intel Report is just a good clue game card. Just a really good green card. Drawing Thin is a good economy card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very easy to also, when your deck gets fully kitted out, to use this and then still pass tests with other rogue tricks that you're gonna have.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of weird to me this card's a survivor card, not a rogue card.
Yeah, it feels.
Drawing Thin's like a poker term, which would fit in with their gambling themes. And increasing the difficulty of the test by 2 is something that green might actually care about.
Yep.
Because they want to succeed by as much as they can, right? And then it gives them economy, which is a green thing.
I mean, I think at this point now the general consensus is that Drawing Thin was a miss of a design on all fronts, and I agree with that.
Yeah, they could just honestly they could ban it. I wouldn't. They could
just make it forbidden. Do it.
Don't we have to put in the videos anymore. Tennessee Sour Mash is an item, and it is green and red, which is how you can tell it's good in Bob, probably. It gives you 2 guts and +3 punch to attack. It's a solid filler item, kind of.
Yeah.
Then we have the green one. Can't play the red one, but the green one's good. Green one's fast, 2 supplies, and you get +3 brain for 2 tests, and then you can discard it to attack at +3 punch and deal +1 damage.
Nice, yeah. You attack at 6,
nice.
that's really nice.
Yep. But the 45 Thompson is just a gun. Lets you fight at 5. It's good. And another day, another dollar. You start the game with 2 additional resources. Great. Like, really fantastic. Just experience filler if you somehow have excess experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Even easier. Yeah.
All right, Dream Eaters. We got Scrounge for supplies. Choose a level 0 card in your discard pile and add the chosen card to your hand. This is going to go a bit longer in Bob because your 5 rogue level 0 cards are probably there for a reason, and you'd probably want to see them more often. It'll eventually, like, this usually gets upgraded out, but it has some more staying power.
It also plays really nicely on, like, a little scavenging package, like I played in my Bob deck, with, play scavenging, resourceful, scrounge for supplies, and then you play short supply, which I think we'll see when we get to Edge of the Earth. You discard 10 cards, and then they ensure you can get your scavenging back.
Yep, definitely. We have Easy Mark, which is just fantastic economy. You get 3 copies, and you can maybe play all 3 at once, which is really fun.
Yep.
Yep. Upgraded Burglary. Wow.
It's different.
It actually is, like, kind of sick. So you can exhaust it, investigate. If you succeed instead of discovering a clue, gain 2 resources, and then you get +1 for each point you succeed by to a max of 3. So this gets you 5 resources for an action.
Yeah, it's a really nice like resource engine with Skeleton Key.
Yep, definitely. Yep. We got Joey the Rat looking out for number 1, which, as we said, was Bob. Yeah, it was Bob. It was Bob. Yeah. So Bob, there's a lot of great synergy with Joey the Rat, especially with scavenging. You can do a lot of really disgusting things with it.
Item on him twice.
Yeah, it says item on it twice. You actually can, like, with your shrewd dealing or whatever it is, you can go resource positive on a lot of items.
A lot of them.
Yeah. And then we have Black Cat. Dude soaks for days, and then he actually makes your Elder Sign good.
Yeah, no, he'll like, he doesn't care about greed at all.
Yeah. they're so small.
Yeah, okay. So he doesn't really play a great curse or bless deck because the red cards care about blesses, and you can't play any experienced ones, and the green cards care about curses, and you can't play any of the you can't play many of, like, the level 0 things.
Yeah, like, you could play the False Covenant, but then it's kind of like, why?
Yeah, like, you can play you can just, like, play a deck where you put them into the bag and benefit from the Lucky Penny and the Eye of Vision as are here, and playing that Priest of Toothface and stuff like that. But these cards are honestly, like, kind of... The Eye of Vision is good enough on its own. Yeah. Lucky Penny, you have to be playing them. Lucky Penny is here because you need to make it into one of the videos, and it's an item, so here it is. You get to flip a coin, which is fun. And sometimes you get blesses, sometimes you get curses, and sometimes you draw a card. It's fun.
So sick.
Eye of Vision is, like, actually good, though.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing a gun build. This one pairs really well with, like, one-handed weapons, where you can boost your base punch up to 5, and then pretend you're Tony Morgan for the low cost of 4 experience.
Wow.
And shoot things with your gun. And then, like, yeah, some bless and some curse stuff in there. You could probably toss in. Yeah.
That card doesn't exist in your deck. It's basically
put 10 fade and just spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of bad in this game. Because it gets you close to drawing your weaknesses.
It is sometimes. True. Sometimes, yeah.
Anyway, the Mariner's Compass is a good card. Especially good in Dark Horse, because it supports that. But also just, like, a good card in general if you're going to investigate, as you're not, like, full on the scavenging train.
Yeah.
If you investigate and you have no resources, you get an additional clue, and you can spend a resource to get +1 book during a skill test using the Mariner's Compass. Good card.
All right. On to Edge of the Earth, and you might be thinking, this is Bob's cycle, and it has a lot of cards in it for him. You'd be right. This is the longest one, so buckle up. I'm going to talk to you about Edge of the Earth. Sledgehammer. It's a survivor weapon. It's an item. You get an attack at 5 and deal +2 damage. It's kind of memey, but it also could be fun. You know, you could try it out. It does work in him.
Yeah, this is a pretty fine like if you, especially if you have limited card pool, it's like a fine level 0 item if you're playing alongside your baseball bat or whatever and your combat Bob.
Yeah. Bandages is a fantastic card. You're probably going to want to play it in Bob.
Yeah.
It's just good. After an investigator ally takes one or more damage, spend a supply from it, heal a damage from that card. Yeah.
It's good.
Schaffner's, this is one that Travis mentioned earlier. It's basically Bob's ability. If it has no secrets, discard it, which is like... Bandages also has that, which is what Scavenging loves to hear. Scavenging sees that text and it goes, oh, don't mind if I do. So you can spend secrets on Schaffner's to pay for item assets played by you or by basically any investigator at your location. We got Hit Me, which is a lucky with a little bit of a little twist on it. You reveal an additional chaos token, switching its minus to a plus, and if it's a skull, you automatically fail. 21 or Bust, which is a really fun and not consistent, but still like entirely passable economy card. It usually ends up being most commonly an emergency cache. Like that's usually where it ends up living. But it can be so much more. This could be a hot streak, basically.
This could, in a perfect world, be better than a Faustian bargain for the low cost of potentially getting nothing.
Yeah.
And also, like, you know, a solid 45 seconds of your time.
But it's so fun all counting together, going 5, 5, because they drew a 0. We have Jury Rig, where you get attached to an item asset controlled by investigator location, and during a skill test, they can spend a durability to get +2. This works very well for Gun Bob, but also just Bob's going to have a lot of items that take tests, and this does really well for that.
Item synergy.
Underworld support, you purchase a deck creation, 1 per deck. You can only have 1 copy of each non-weakness on non-signature card by title, and you reduce your deck size by 5. There are cases where this can actually be the correct choice. One of them is if you're playing a lot of exceptional cards.
And if you tend to play a lot of exceptional cards.
Yeah. So if you're looking at doing that and you're like getting some of the big ones, you can look at it. However, you are going to sacrifice some consistency for the sake of running this. We have In the Thick of It, which you can take some trauma to get through experience at the start.
Yeah, it's nice because a lot of the green cards need experience.
Yep. Top Secret, Counter Espionage. I read the frickin' the thing on the
art.
Yeah, Counter Espionage. It's one of the favors where it costs 2 and you can spend up to 6 in batches of 2 to do more effects. And this is basically just encounter card manipulation.
It's a fancy warrior protection, yeah.
Yeah. We have Untimely Transaction. Congratulations, you did it. You made it into a video because this is the one where it is. You get to reveal an item asset in your hand. Another investigator may buy it from you.
Yep.
If they do, you draw that card. You draw 1 card and you gain resources equal to that asset's printed cost. So a little bit memey.
I like the flare text. Really, you're gonna haggle with me now? You're like, you're in Antarctica being mobbed by giant penguins. And you're like, want to buy a shotgun for me for 5 resources? And they're like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Just give it to me.
Yep. Savant, you gain wild icons equal to your lowest skill other than the skill being tested, with Bob for a brain is a promise of power. It's gonna be 4 symbols, 4 wilds on it in total. Right? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice card in Bob. Red Clock, the level 2 and the level 5 version. This is a very strong item. It's exceptional, and if you play it on turn 1, you're probably going to win. That's generally how it goes.
Level 5 one, yeah.
Yeah, the level 2 one I don't even want to play because it has like the little brother syndrome where I'm like, you suck. You're great. You suck. But this one's great.
They really nailed the subtitle for this one. Broken but reliable.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It basically does a lot of things while also potentially giving you a big amount of resources. We got Black Market, which is a fun and good card. It's like the perfect cross synergy of meme and actually playable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So at the start of the investigation phase, you play it, and then you get to reveal 5 cards, 1 at a time, from all players' decks until there's 5 revealed in total. Then players may play cards from that pool of cards until the beginning of the next investigation phase.
I think part of the really fun part of this card is the art. This guy at Harm looks like he's selling me like a used car. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Fan, which is a big money payoff. If you have a lot of money, you can either gain more health and sanity, take additional actions, or get +1 to your skills.
Well,
and yeah.
Yeah.
Big money. Unscrupulous Loan.
Big money.
Big money. Gives you a lot of money. Precious Memento. Never die. They have the text where if you fail skill test by 2 or more, or succeed by 2 or more, you get to exhaust and heal a damage or a horror, and then it's flipped for the other version. And they also flipped the skill icons on it. Bryn was here, he'd say it. Yeah, it's just like a never die, and it's also an item. And, you know, once again, with everything that is an item, you value it more, and it also can be cheaper if you have your signature out, and it's just even sweeter.
Yeah, I wonder why one of them is cursed and the other is blessed.
Oh.
Weird.
Oh. Interesting. I'm trying to see if there's a...
Like a thing in the art?
No, I'm just like looking at like maybe like the... Like maybe just like the flavor of it is that the succeeding by two or more is like... I don't know, like horror feels more blessed to me, right? I don't know, but it's probably just I don't know why. There's probably a reason they probably just like fucking put it on there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So notably, we actually don't have short supply in the slides here, but short supply is a good.
We also have Faustian bargain because we're stupid. But
we never put it in it's very rarely in the Innsmouth one.
Okay, that's fair.
Old shotgun.
Bang.
It's also just a little bit fun and memey. I'm still excited to see Bryn build a deck around it and for us to be like, are you going to do anything? And he's like, no, my gun's empty.
My old shotgun deck, he's just going to play it.
Yeah, we're like, oh no. Okay. But yeah, you basically, when you're playing an event, you treat the shotgun's use value as if it was 2, which is like weird text because it is, and you can like use events to kind of trick the game into you putting ammo on it or pretending there's ammo on it.
Yeah, like with black market or untimely transactions. Does it work during, it doesn't work for black market.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because you have to play the cards like part of your turn.
Yeah, but if you played it like with that sleight of hand,
yeah, sleight of hand works. Untimely transaction works. You can like reload it with a swift reload.
Yeah. Antiquary and Crafty, these are some mana generators. Resource generators.
Let's try this.
Working on. There's been too many games, different games. But they make resources, they make cash, and they replenish these 2 resources at the start of each round. And they can each pay for 3 things, whether it's paying for the cards themselves or boosting a stat value while doing a test on one of those cards. Antiquary is Favor, Relic, and Ritual. We've seen some Favors, we've seen some Relics. Crafty is Insight, Tool, or Trick. We have definitely seen some tools, and greens have tricks. Eon Chart, level 1 and level 4 work really well in Bob. They let you take, you can exhaust it to choose and take one of the following actions: move, evade, or investigate. And then the level 4 version, you can take them in any order, and you take 2 of them, and they have to be different. These work very well with Joey the Rat, because when they're empty, you can just sell them to him and make a profit if your signature's out, and then also scavenge them back. It's very nice.
It's a good card. It's a fair card.
And then we got Janae Beauregard, who is just a very good ally.
Yeah, she really just is.
Yeah, she's just very good. She was tabooed to be 5, right? Like Michael Lee, like she should have been from the big get-go.
Yeah, I mean, they both could have been like 4, I think.
Yeah.
Michael Lee could be not 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Return twos. We got Hot Streak. This is mini Hot Streak. It's +5 instead of +7. Nice. We got Contraband level 2. You can either put 2 ammo or supply tokens on an asset and draw a card, or double the amount of ammo or supply tokens on an asset. People are going to be playing guns, or like you're going to be playing items with supply. So nice. Cold Vest Pocket is a weapon. It's you spend ammo to fight and you get +2 punch for attack. The attack deals +2 damage. At the end of the round, if you triggered its action ability, you discard it. This one you have like more actions to shoot it with because you have a free action to play it.
Yeah, and if for some reason you're playing Joey the Rat, sell it to him at the end.
Yeah. Idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go, and it just disappears from his hands.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck? Bob, you got me again!
We have our level 2 backpack here. This one searches 12 cards instead of 6 for some reason. They're really good for finding items and supplies, which are all of you really care about, so good.
Yeah, and we've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, but if you like really want to play Bob or just want to play with backpack, you should probably pick up the Forgotten Age Return To box if you ever see it at a store somewhere, because we don't know.
Yeah, if it's going to get reprinted ever.
Or if the cards are ever going to be put into another format. So right now, it's just, if you want it and you see it, you should probably get it.
Yeah, well connected, level 3. You can exhaust it and get +1 skill value for this test for each 4 resources you have. As a lightning bolt, you spend 2 resources to ready well connected. You'll notice that like the level 2 version of this is, or level 3 version of this is here, along with the upgrade Colt Vest Pocket and the upgrade Contraband, but the level 0 ones weren't present. It's probably because when you are building these Edge of the Earth Investigators, as a general rule, you don't want your 5 level 0 cards from the one color to be cards that you're going to upgrade out of. You want them to be cards that are staying in your deck. and you're just gonna buy the upgraded versions because they're better. Like if you're playing a well-connected deck, you're gonna upgrade your well-connecteds anyway.
Yeah.
You're better off just buying these and then having your 5 level 0 green cards be something more useful.
I was actually about to say the exact same thing. Just I was about to, then you just started like, oh, look at that.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
The Fool lets you play cards for 1 less. It's like your...
That's really good.
It's like a second copy of True Dealings.
Wow. I always forget about the tarots that came out in the
We were hyped about this card when it came out, and then we never played it.
Yeah.
It cost 3 experience, I think.
Yeah.
Still, 3 experience for Bob to have a second copy of True Dealings.
It's like definitely worth it.
It's very real, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
There's
let's
so
go.
few of them.
You're right. This one. That little baby's guide.
We got Lonnie Ritter. If you're going to be playing with your fist, she's a good option, but she can also heal damage from item assets, like a leather coat, for example. And yeah, nice option for that. She also can heal horror from herself, which helps you kind of counteract greed as well. The Derringer is a gun that shoots, and it's basically a guaranteed 4 damage, which is really nice. Old Keyring is just very good. Dare I say, at this point now, it's starting to get, like, way too good. But
yeah.
If there are no keys on it, you discard it. But really, once again, that points to scavenging being the issue. Because it does discard itself, so you don't even need to, like, have to play something else. You just discard it, and then you can scavenge it back. Upgraded Liquid Courage. This one works a bit differently, where if you fail, you heal an additional horror, and you discard a card at random from their hand. Whereas opposed to the last one was that if you fail, you just discard a card from your hand, but if you succeed, you heal an additional horror. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So it's like different how you want to drink your liquor. That's how it's there for you. We got 2 final weapons to close this out, the Mauser and the Beretta, which if you're going to be shooting with Bob, these are items that can do it, and the Beretta seems particularly fun because, you know, you just got to go tonk, 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 tonk. Yeah. All right, deck list.
Yeah, hey, short supply minute here. Look, it's all the cards we talked about.
Look at that.
Yeah, we have a bunch of items. We have this is a scavenging deck, yeah, it is. We got our scavengings, and then we have like our little short supply, scrounge for supplies, resourceful package to ensure that it's always in your opening hand. We have the key rings and the flashlights and a singleton lantern to kind of shore it up. Backpacks to ensure we find our items. 2 Faustians and 2 burglaries for economy, along with the 2 Schaffners. 1 Liquid Courage just as a way as our sort of 5th green card. It's a nice flex one, like Justin mentioned earlier. Jury Rig can work in tandem with your investigating things to kind of carry you through some of the higher shroud locations, as well as the Gravedigger Shovel to get clues off of extremely high shroud locations, or if you need to fight something for some reason. Lucky and Emergency Cash are just good cards. And we have Bandages again, really solid item.
Yeah.
That's the deck.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. With stuff like this, you gotta it's kind of tough to know like what you take out when you go, because like the identity kind of changes. Yeah, Gravedigger Shovel, Jury Rig could also eventually go. Lantern can go.
Mostly the Luckies probably could at some point as well.
Yeah, definitely. And if the Luckies go, you probably, I mean, like keeping the Resourceful is good because it gets you back the scavenging. But yeah.
You could also like move away from the scavenging with this build if you wanted to put in a bunch of like high experience exceptional items.
Yeah, definitely.
Or like if you wanted to lean more towards the big money builds. There's already the core there with the Burglary, Faustian, and Emergency Cash to get you going. So
yeah. That's Bob. I think our next one is Daniela. Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk about Survivor cards again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Different ones though.
Yeah, and some Guardian cards, and also just
I like Guardian cards.
Yeah, they're fun.
Kinda.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. Sub 40 minutes. Let's go. Nice. I think that might be one of our shortest ones
New
yet.
record.
Thanks, Bob.